All right, so I have an idea for a new game show. It's called Dick or No Dick. So essentially, you line up like 6 or 5 or however many women and trans women up on a stage. You got an audience, you've got an at-home viewing audience, and essentially you bet or vote on who has a dick and who doesn't have a dick. And after everybody votes, after everybody does their betting, you turn them around and you do an Ace Ventura style reveal on who's tucked back or not.
Oh,
And
fuck.
if they're not tucked back, you get to double down on who you think is post op.
Post op.
And then so if you're a man and you vote the wrong person, you immediately get a message to your phone that goes, "Congratulations, you're gay." It's America's next new hit game show. Dick or No Dick. What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio. Transmitting from the future free state of Greater Idaho, I am the one-armed madman. And back with us this week from the Badlands of Southern Montana, it's Nolan 5150. Nolan, what's happening? Dick or no dick? That is the question.
That's the question. Oh
is
man,
the
that my question is who do you think they'd let Diddy host it from prison?
Ooh, that's an interesting. Did you see the picture of him with like a lady boy on his arm in prison?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit. That
He's
would
like,
be interesting.
come on, man.
You could even do it in prison. You know, you could have a couple of the butt pirates, line up, and you could have some women inmates line up, and they're getting this would be a gauge to see how good the surgeries are getting, and you can, and you also get like a camera on the audience where you get to see everybody doing this bit after Ace Ventura. Congratulations, you're gay.
Finkel is Einhorn.
No. So did you see? I don't think I sent it to you, but I didn't look too much into this. I just saw people posting about it on the internet. But apparently, Trump suspended some EPA regulation that is supposedly what keeps the Toyota Hilux from being sold in the United States.
Oh, no fucking way.
Yeah. So apparently, they will be legal to sell in the United States soon. Whether that means Toyota will sell them or not is still completely unknown, but it's going to happen. These motherfuckers are going to be legal. And hopefully, I saw that GM stopped producing a lot of their electric vehicles. I think it was GM. It was one of the American car companies. And the CEO was basically like, I like these electric vehicles, but the public clearly doesn't. And we're not going to keep making a product that the public doesn't like. So we're going to keep making this hybrid version that has a gas engine that charges the electric engine, but our gas trucks are going away. We're just not going to make, our electric trucks are going away. We're not making them. I think it might've been Ford. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. They're all the same at this point.
Yeah.
They're all just boardrooms, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Manufacturers are going to have to make a choice. Do we continue to sell vehicles that people can't afford, or do we make something that is cheap? Because if they start selling the Hilux here in the United States and people buy the fuck out of them, that's going to kind of force the other manufacturers to make cheaper vehicles. I could see
supply and demand, man.
Right. And I could see you could make a cheap Jeep, why is it that Jeeps have to cost $50,000 now? You could easily make a cheap Jeep at this point.
Yeah. It's the iPhone fucking shit. They have to change something. They have to make it better so they can charge more money. Even though there's they could make it very simple, rugged, dude. There's a lot of people out there that wouldn't agree, but I am a big fan of simplicity,
Yeah.
I have no problem leaning over and rolling my passenger window down a little bit with a hand
Yeah.
crank. I like that shit better because the less electronic components and stuff, the
Yeah.
less
I can
bullshit
adjust
hassle you
my own
have.
seat. I don't need a computer to remember what seat, position that I use and what seat position the other three drivers of my vehicle uses. Like I can reach down and grab the little lever. Like my car, that I have like it's like a '02, I think. I don't even know. It's a Corolla.
I think,
And
yeah, I think we have like the same model because
yeah,
mine's like a '06 or something.
mine might even be a little bit older. It might be an '06 or somewhere in that general area, but it's a great little car. Like it has automatic door locks and windows, which I think don't really fail as much as they used to. Like my first vehicle was a 1988 Chevy Silverado, and dude, that thing had electronic door locks and windows on it, and I was always having to replace switches on those fucking things. The window motors were always like slipping a rod or something like that because they were so fucking difficult to, you know, roll these things up. And dude, I just wanted like vinyl floors, vinyl seats that I can put seat covers on. Give me some fucking roll up windows and maybe some electronic door locks. Like I could live with that. But like they don't need to be as complicated as they are. Give me a radio that I can plug my phone into, and maybe
Yeah,
have a radio
Bluetooth.
antenna in it. Like it doesn't need to be this extravagant fucking rolling office. Like I just want something that's simple, that's going to last for a long time, that I don't have to drop a ton of money into.
Yeah, that's manufacturers should absolutely get back to producing vehicles like that people can afford. But still make those top of the line. It's got
Yeah.
all the bells and whistles, and then people will buy them, but maybe just don't crank out like 100,000 of them in a year. Make them more like kind of built to order or something. I know that would make them more expensive, but if you got the fucking money and you're gonna order it, and whatever. But that's another thing that I love about my old Toyota pickup.
Yeah.
The with the 4-wheel drive, it's all manual. I have a manual shift transfer case. I've got a 5-speed transmission and manual locking hubs. It is really annoying when I have to stop and lock the hubs or unlock them, but there's
It's less
zero
annoying than
electronic
replacing
components.
a fucking transfer case.
Yeah, right. Man, which speaking of that truck, man, I fucking love that truck. It's we got dumped on. Did you guys get snow last
No,
week?
not yet. We've had a really mild winter
Yeah.
so far. It's been pretty warm.
We got probably a good, I don't know, varying, like they were calling for like 8 to 12 inches, and we probably got, a solid 10 here and there, if not a little bit more. But and then it like got warm. It was cold for a couple days, really cold, and then it got warm again, and then everything melted, and then the roads were freaking like solid ice. I I slid off the interstate into the center. Luckily, there weren't any. I was far enough outside of town. There weren't any like guardrails or anything. But yeah. So the banks of it are just super thick because they plow all the snow into the center, and I couldn't really get out where I was, but I was able to drive down the center of it, and yeah, I got that little thing out, and I was just like, atta girl.
Do you have like all-terrain tires on it or mud tires on it?
Yeah, they're all terrain.
Kind of have to have all terrains in that area. I'm considering, like, when I get my truck running, I'm considering getting rid of the lowering kit and putting it back to stock height and putting all-terrain tires on it.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man, because that
looks good lowered.
truck looks sick lowered.
Yeah.
But yeah, putting it back up and putting it on some some 15s with some nice tread on them, it would also look good. And then if you just keep the lowering kit, and then
Yeah.
if
I was
by
also
some-
thinking that
for
I
some
might
reason you
just
sell it.
put some all-terrain tires on it with the lowering kit still on it. It would look kind of strange, but it would be interesting, right? I think I could fit some
I've
in
seen some. Yeah, that yeah, you could absolutely, as long as they fit, right?
Yeah. I'm not really planning on driving it much in the winter anyways. Like the thing doesn't handle very well in the snow right now. Like I don't know how much all-terrain tires would help. Like I've spun that fucker around in the in the snow a couple of different times. It's just, it just doesn't handle well in the snow and my
Because
little car does
it's
really
2-wheel
well.
drive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, even if you threw some all terrains on there and then put like fucking 400 or 500 pounds in the bed, you'd be surprised.
It's not really the rear end that I lose a ton of traction in. It's the front end. Like the front end's just, and it's not
Yeah,
super light in the front. I mean, it's got a 350 in it, so it's got some weight up there, but the front end just like the tires just push on it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the tires, but I don't know. My car does really well in the snow. Like I've never had a problem with it in the snow before, so I think for now I'm just gonna leave it how it is and probably just drive it more in the spring and summertime. I wouldn't mind
yeah.
putting an air conditioner in it someday, but you kind of have to go crazy to put an air conditioner in those fucking things. You got to do like a serpentine belt and really do a lot of work on it. So it would not be a cheap
Dude,
project.
if that's something you're seriously looking at, write this down. It's a company called Vintage Air.
Yeah, I've looked into that one.
Oh, you know? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. That's we buy their kits and we put them in our little diesel Jeep looking things.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They do make a kit that doesn't require a serpentine belt. You just have to put like a secondary belt on. I've looked
Yeah,
into that one, but I'm not really sure like how much power something like that would produce. I don't know. Like I guess having a secondary belt's not really much different than having a serpentine belt. Like it's still going off the main drive belt. So like you would think that it's going to generate as much power as one with a serpentine belt, but I don't know. It's
yeah.
the kits themselves are a couple grand and then you got to do all the work on them and do all the ducting and the venting and stuff like that. And it's not something that I know how to do. I'm sure it's not that
Yeah.
hard, but that fucking truck's a pain in the ass to work on too because it is so low to the ground. But I'm guessing with something like that, like most of the firewall work would be done on the upper end of the firewall, so you probably wouldn't have to get underneath it too much.
If it's yeah, if you got the one where you just added the AC compressor
Yeah,
and then the big thing would be is if you have the space for the belt on your crank pulley.
yeah.
If it's that style, it's really not too hard. And as far as I remember, I think you really only have to drill 2 holes through your firewall for the coolant lines.
That's not bad. I think I'm gonna do a new seat on it. Like I can't decide.
Or
I
is
found a
that? I
really
think that's the heater.
mm,
Yeah, I think that's the heater one. But they do AC and heat ones. But yeah, and then you just gotta like bolt the unit and stuff up under the dash. Typically, that's if it's anything like the ones that we get. But
I think I'm gonna do a couple different things on it. Like I want to do a new seat. I haven't decided. Like I found a really cool seat that's like leather that has kind of like cup holders in it, but you can still sit over the top of the cup holders, so it's still like a bench seat.
yeah,
And I'm either going to do that or I'm just going to replace the foam and put like new covers over it and go with the stock version of it, which it's not bad, and I think I might put seat belts in it. Like I don't think it's required to have seat belts. Like it only needs to have lap belts because the year that it is in, but I don't
yeah,
know. I
yeah,
might as well put some fucking shoulder straps in it just to be safer because that thing, it's not the biggest vehicle in the world, and I don't know. Like I'm so used to wearing a seatbelt at this point because my car screams at me if I don't put it on. That it's kind of like
yeah.
a habit to put the fucking thing on anyways. And I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something that you should really fuck around with too much. Like getting in a car accident fucking sucks, and I've had enough damage done to my body over the years that the last thing I need to do is like hurt my back in a fucking car accident. And I think I'm gonna do like all the window seals on it. So I haven't decided if I'm gonna remove the windshield and the rear window and redo those seals yet. But I want to do like the door seals and like it has those little triangle windows on the
Yep.
on the front of it that kind of move open, and those things are fucking trash. So I'd like to redo those too. And everything,
Yeah.
it all adds up. It'll probably be $1,000 just for the seals and the seat belts, and then depending on what I do with the seat, like the seat's going to be expensive. But
Do you want to keep the seat? Like, do you want to keep it more like old school original with a
I
bench
don't know.
seat?
I can pull up the video or I can pull up a picture of the seat that I've been looking at and send it to you while we're on the podcast so you can check it out. Like, I, either way could be pretty good. Like, I like the idea of keeping it fairly stock. Like, I kind of want them to. Safari couldn't establish a server. Come on, don't be a bitch. Here we go.
I've seen some old square bodies and stuff that guys will get like the interior out of, maybe like a newer Suburban or Yukon
Yeah,
or something like that, and then they put that whole bucket seat
I don't want to do
with the
buckets. I want to do a
center
bench.
console thing. Yeah.
I just texted you a picture of the seat that I'm looking at. It's pretty fucking nice. Like I like the idea of putting like a nice seat in it. But again, like I kind of like the old canvas, like the canvas cover that they have on the stock seat. It's like that black and gray
Yeah.
thing that's pretty cool. And
Yeah.
like I could do either or, and I also want to do like a new stereo in it. Like the stereo doesn't work. I'd like to do something that looks stock that has just like an iPhone connector to it so I can listen to music on my phone and then put new speakers in it. I'm not gonna do like a
Yeah.
sub and an amp or any of that type of shit. That cab's so fucking small that I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, dude, that seat looks nice. You thinking about doing the door panels like that?
They don't it for some reason that company doesn't make the door panels. I don't know. Like they make the seat and they show the door panels, but I don't know what's going on with the door panels. At least on their website, they don't offer the door panels. I was thinking I might email them and like ask them what's up with the door panels because I feel like if I'm going to do the seat, I should do the door panels.
Yeah, yeah, that would look real nice.
Yeah. And, they have different color stitching that you can do on it, but like that's a pretty sweet seat. And I like how the center of it has those cup holders so you can like use it as a center console type, but you can still sit over the top of them if you're going to have 3 people in it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It's it's
and
not
that back.
expensive. Like I would figure that something like that would be more expensive. I think what are they asking like 16 or $1,500? Like that's not the end of the world for something that nice. And it's probably going to
Yeah,
cost me like 5 to 600 to redo all the foam and get new seat covers, maybe even a little bit more. So I kind of feel like I might as well just do the seat.
yeah, and that back looks like it gets nice and slim, so it probably give you a little more leg room too.
That's what I was thinking too, because like that stock one, it kind of bubbles out instead of contours
Yeah,
up like the one that I just sent you. So I was thinking the same thing because it's pretty tight in there. Those fuckers weren't
yeah,
made for somebody that's 6'4". That's for goddamn sure. Those things are pretty
yeah,
fucking tight.
and with that back, it looks like it would be way more comfortable too, like a bucket seat.
Yeah, I think so too. And like it's contoured on the ass too, so you'd probably sit a little bit lower because again, like that stock one is kind of bubbled, on the top, so it kind of squats down. But I feel like the springs and everything are probably pretty fucking worn out on it, so I would have to like
Oh yeah,
completely rebuild that seat in order to make it look stock. And like I like the idea of adding a couple of bells and whistles to it. Like I want it to look mostly stock. Like I'm going to keep the stock dash. I wouldn't mind like it's a custom deluxe. It's not a Cheyenne. And I don't know how much you know about those pickups, but like on the Cheyennes, they came with moldings on the top and bottom of the body. They had like a chrome molding across the top, and then they had like a wood grain or a black molding across the bottom. And I was thinking it'd be sweet to just get the wood grain moldings for the bottom, and like they attach with clips like as stock, but you can get them. Like I figured I could just stick them on there with some sort of double-sided tape or something like that, and they'd probably stick on just fine rather than drilling holes in the body. But I think
yeah,
that would look pretty cool having that bottom wood grain molding across. And I think it's only like $400 to get the whole kit of them, which is not too bad. And I bought a grill for it. I bought a black grill. It's a horizontal bar grill, which I'm not sure if I'm going to like or not. It wasn't very expensive, so I figured I'd try it out. And if I don't like it, I'll go back to the stock grill. But
yeah.
it should look pretty nice with a
Right
couple
on.
different little touches to it. I don't want to
Tasteful modern upgrades.
exactly
Nothing too crazy or
exactly. And,
flashy. Yeah.
be nice to have a fucking stereo in it. Like things fucking
Yeah.
quiet right now. I usually use just my DeWalt speaker when I drive it. I would just hook
Yeah,
up my
there you go.
DeWalt speaker and put it like on the back of the fucking of the seat and leave it up there. But you know, it's not
Yeah,
really
speaking
great sound.
Yeah. Speaking of modern vehicle amenities, I just was having to do some chauffeuring around with some company trucks and stuff. And God damn it, the one thing I do love is when it's got the back heater in the seat.
Yeah,
That's
those are
freaking nice.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. My mom's got those in her car, and I don't use them most of the time, but they are nice when you get in and it's cold. One thing like that I don't like about my car, and same thing with my pickup, is like I would love to be able to just click a button and have the fucking thing warm itself up in the garage. You know,
Yeah,
that would be nice. That would be nice. I do enjoy that. You know, I've never had that on a vehicle. Like I know people that have had it before, but God, it would be nice to be able to just click a button and warm that thing up. But I guess like if you're parking it in the garage, you kind of have to go out there to open the garage door anyways. Otherwise, you're just gonna fucking suffocate yourself in CO2. So
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know. That's not something I'm gonna get into. But you know, a couple little things on it will be nice. The engine's gonna look nice. I think I sent you a picture of the engine when I got it. It looks nice. It looks good. It's got, you know, it's all black and orange, and I got like a black carb and black heads on it and black intake, and it's gonna look fucking sweet.
Yeah, man, that'll be a sweet little pickup. Oh, yeah, I just my whatever, I don't know it's what the technical term is, but it's the like fan, the like heater fan switch in my Toyota pickup got stuck on high last week. Luckily it was right before the cold and snow hit, so I didn't really mind it for a while. But then it started to warm up, which was, dude, it was crazy last week. Wednesday or Thursday, it went from like 60 degrees to like, I think 16 degrees in a matter of maybe like 4 or 5 hours.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then it started to warm up again, and then I got pissed off, and I just freaking started trying to force it over, and then it just kind of let loose, and now it was stuck on medium. But I went to the junkyard on Monday and pulled another one out of another, you know, wrecked Toyota, and got the dash and everything, most of like the whole bottom half of the dash all pulled apart. Dang it, I needed to get my inspection mirror from work, which I forgot, because I'm almost there. I just gotta release a little clip on the switch so I can slide it out. But I did get the junkyard switch plugged into the harness and everything, and it works, and it just happens to fit perfectly above my my head unit and everything. So it's still kind of halfway apart, but I got a functioning fan switch.
That's what's nice about those fucking things. Oh shit, what is going on?
And we're having some technical difficulties at the moment, it looks like.
What's nice about those old pickups is like, you know, you gotta bring. All right, I got.
What'd you say?
Oh, nothing. I was
All
off. I was off mic. I was being dumb. I'll be right back. Try and vamp.
And this is me trying to fill the dead air for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. And he's back. And that's been this episode's TED Talk with Nolan.
I'll have to listen to it later. I'm sure I'll get a lot out of
Anyway,
it.
it was no. I was tapping into my economic expertise. I dropped some
excellent.
knowledge
Yeah.
on.
Oh boy. Yeah, man. Fuck, dude. There's so much shit going on economically right now. We're in such fucking trouble. I was
that's some.
Go ahead.
I meant to bring it up earlier, but I saw something. I didn't read all of it, but apparently Trump reversed some And it's what you said something about the EPA something earlier, but it was
Yeah.
about the Hiluxes. Yeah, and Trump reversed some Biden thing that he put into effect, which I'm almost certain is why the mines around here all of a sudden cut they laid off like more than half their staff and their workers and everything. But yeah, something Trump reversed, and it's gonna open up a bunch of federal land, coal leases and stuff or something. So, yeah, that was it. Made me think of it earlier because you were talking about
Here's the problem.
the EV vehicles and stuff.
He's not doing anything to ensure that these policies just don't go right back into place as soon as a Democrat gets elected again. You know?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
have a hard time. Like, I think that we might not even get a Hilux shipped over into the United States. You might have to like special order one or something like that. But I don't think they're going to start selling them at dealerships right away because, like, it's a big economic decision if you're a car company to decide, okay, we're going to shift our entire fucking marketing strategy and our entire build strategy to go from these expensive vehicles down to these cheaper ones when all of that can just be wiped out again 2 years down the line. Like, abolish the EPA, get rid of it. Like, instead of just making these ridiculous cuts to it that a Democrat can come right. I think I've told you this before, but like when I was in college, I was like one of the climate change books I had to read, which was a couple of them, which, I was a business major. Why do I need to learn about climate change? I have no idea. But that was like one of the major parts of the school that I went to was you have to learn about climate change. And they were all complaining about like regulatory capture and how Trump is destroying the environment with all of his decisions at the EPA. And he's putting people that are antithetical to environmentalism into EPA positions so that they can get rid of policies that are saving the planet and all this bullshit. But the problem was by the time I was reading it, Biden was in office and all of that shit had gone away already. So it was like a
yeah.
moot point. Like it was all gone. We were right back to normal again. So like, great that they're going to open up the mines again, but how long is it going to last? Are maybe these people who had been working in mines for, a decade, they are probably wouldn't be smart to go back and work there again because how long is it going to last? Maybe just get a different job that is going to have like lasting power that you can continue to work in for the rest of your career rather than go into something that is going to get wiped out again in the near future. Like right now with way like the Republican Party is kind of turning on MAGA is like I shouldn't say the Republican Party, like MAGA voters are kind of turning on Trump because he has really not lived up to the ideals that he promised he was going to do when he got elected. Like this, Ukraine, for instance. I read an article last night about how like he's finally starting to broker a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia. And it's like he said he was going to end that war on day one. He said he was going to end it before he even got into office. As soon as he was president-elect, he would end that war. Here we are a year in, and that war is still going. And like one of the things that they're going to do is have like a European defense force on the ground in Ukraine in case Russia decides to invade again. It's like, well, the whole point of this fucking invasion was like they're sick of NATO going closer and closer to their borders. So what are you going to do? You're going to put a NATO defense force,
Uh, yeah,
on the ground,
a
and that's
large
not going to
force.
add, lead to problems in the future. Like, come on, man. Like they're going to be doing special operations behind enemy lines, and they're going to get caught. And they're going to lie about it, and it's just going to
Oh,
start
that's
right
never
back up
happened.
again. Yeah, that never happens. The CIA never does anything like that. So I don't know, like this whole Israel thing, the MAGA voters are finally starting to realize that Israel might not be our best ally, and we may not, a lot of the things that we've done in the Middle East hasn't helped us in any way, and we're just keep funneling money into these foreign countries and lobbyists and voters, and like they're destroying the United States currency, they're destroying the dollar in order to enrich themselves because it's just there's no way they're going to pay off the debt. We're just so far into debt at this point that they've all kind of resigned to the fact that it's never going to get paid off. So we might as well just extract as much wealth out of the American people as we possibly can for as long as we can. And like, I'm not convinced that, Vance or Marco Rubio are going to get elected in the next term because, like,
Yeah.
what are they going to run on? They're economically, Trump is doing the exact same thing that Biden did. Don't believe your lying eyes. The economy is the greatest economy we've ever seen. There's never been a greater economy. Like, he says all this shit all the time, while normal people, you and me, are looking around going, I can't afford groceries. People can't afford to buy Christmas presents for their kids. They can't go on vacation. They can't afford a vehicle. They can't buy a house. They can't even afford rent at this point. You've got full-grown men living with their parents because it's impossible to get a job that's, capable of buying a house or renting a decent apartment or property. It's just gotten to the point where normal people aren't buying it anymore. So what is Vance going to run on? What is Marco Rubio going to run on? I'm going to do the exact same thing that Trump did. And don't worry about all this economic stuff that you can see with your own eyes that we're telling you is untrue. Like, I don't see that being a great position. Like, that was one of the main problems with Kamala Harris is she wasn't running on any, she wasn't going to repudiate any of Biden's policies that led to economic decline within the country. And people were like, we're not buying it. This is not good. Things are not going good right now. And there's a lot of fair weather voters out there that are going to vote with their pocketbook. And if the Democrats get up on stage and, you've got Kamala Harris or, Gavin Newsom saying, hey, this is why the economic situation is so bad and we're going to change it for you. They're not plugged in enough with economics to know that they're lying too. They're just going to vote the other way. And I'm not convinced that, Vance or Rubio are going to get elected in the next term. I think there's a good possibility that they don't. I don't know about Kamala Harris. I think she's fucking awful and a terrible candidate. And if they run her again, there's a good chance that she loses. But I also think that there's a decent chance that Gavin Newsom wins. You could see a Gavin Newsom AOC ticket, and I think that could be a winning ticket with the economic situation that people are dealing with right now. People don't know what's in their best interest, and if you got one party telling you, hey, the reason your life is fucked up right now is because of the Republicans, they're probably just going to listen.
Yeah. And, a lot of people you can tear shit down and make shit bad way faster than you can, repair and make stuff better again. And, I don't know whether or not Trump's actually getting stuff done, with trying to put all the pieces in place in order for things to get better. It I feel like takes a lot longer to accomplish that, and that's part of, I feel like, the problem with a 2-term presidency. Trump had separated terms, so now whether or not he's doing any good that would produce any results into turning the economy around, it like you said, then in 4 years everybody doesn't see the results, and then they just forget. They're not willing to vote in a way. It's annoying, man. But then vote in a way and stay the course in hopes that these politicians are going to actually do the right things to rebuild this country and this economy and get us back to a self-sufficient, balanced budget state.
Yeah, well, the problem is neither party's going to do that. Trump has printed more money than Biden did, and the next president, regardless if it's a Republican or a Democrat, will print more money than Trump. And that's the problem. Is don't get me wrong, I think that we are better off with Trump in than we would have been with Kamala. I think energy policy is better. I think, gas prices are coming down, not as fast as they should, but they are coming down compared to when we had a Democrat in office. I think that environmental policies are better. The border is clearly better, but none of these things are lasting change that a Democrat can't just snap their fingers and change the next time they get into office. And when it comes to like economic and fiscal policy, they're the same thing. We're going to extract as much wealth out of the American people as we can. We're going to give them to foreign countries, foreign lobbies, our donors, and we're just going to keep raping you with inflation, and like it's it's not something that you're going to be able to change just by, going on with the same thing. And I don't think either policy, either party has any intention in fixing it. First off, you would have to know how to fix it. And I'm not convinced that Trump knows what he's doing. I really don't think he has a plan. Marjorie Taylor Greene decided that she's not going to be in office anymore. And one of the last things she said on her like farewell address to like while she was going out, she was like, there's no 5D chess. There's no plan to save America. Like he's just doing the same thing as any other, establishment politician would do. And like, I think that's the case. Like, I think these Trump dick riders who think, oh, 5D chess, he's, planning everything out. I don't think he has a plan. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I don't think he cares about the American people all that much, to be honest. Like, I think he has meetings with people who tell him to do something and he goes, oh, I can spin this to make myself look good. So he does it or he doesn't,
Yeah. Yeah. That's, like, that's like how I have a very, very high suspicion that, like you just said, you're right. He's just another establishment politician.
Well, I mean, look at the people he's surrounding himself with, Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio, and like all of these neocons who are antithetical to American first policies, and the people who are America first, like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey and Rand Paul, he's alienated and called them traitors publicly.
Yeah. And that's where I go back to my theory that it really doesn't matter. That's gonna sway back and forth over so many election cycles. It goes one way for a little while, then the other side gets all fired up, and then people don't like who's been in power, and then the power shifts, and then goes that way for 2, 3, 4 terms, whatever, and people, it doesn't matter who's in power, there's going to be people pissed off, and it's just going to sway back and forth of that 50% line of the population.
But also the entire power structure underlying our political parties is all in favor of the Democrats. So they're always going to be able to get more things done faster than the Republicans are. Everything that Trump tries to do is held up by a judge. Every fucking day there's a different article about how a judge has paused this and a judge has ruled this unconstitutional and blah, 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 blah. So like even the stuff that he's trying to do that may or may not be good, he's being held up on because these people are just anti-Trump and they're psychopaths and they don't give a shit about the country or the people that live in it. Where like the Democrat power structure is always going to have those judges on their sides.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's everybody keeps talking about how prime we are for a civil war situation. Like what was it, the Bondi Beach shooting that just happened?
I think that
it seems
Mossad.
Like we're
Oops, I didn't say that. Never mind. Israel's our greatest ally.
Yeah, man. It's it seems like we're seeing more and more of these like kind of religious, supposedly religious stemmed, especially there. It seems like they're really pushing the
Holy war.
What's the word?
Crusades.
Yeah, yeah, and it seems like these like the all the illegals that they've moved into different areas and stuff like that. That seems to be the overwhelming trend of these like incidences of people just starting to kill people out in public. What, I don't know. It just,
where's the mass deportations?
Yeah.
Do you see them happening around you? You live in a majority Republican state, so do I. I'm not seeing mass deportations. Every time I go to the fucking store, there's a different African family in there or Mexicans everywhere. Like there's no mass deportations. There's only like 9 counties within Idaho that are complying with ICE at this point. 9. 9 out of the entire fucking state. And, uh, we have a bar that's outside of Boise that decided to offer free drinks for a month if you can prove that you got an illegal immigrant deported. And wouldn't you know it, he got audited the next day that he posted that. Next day. Imagine that.
Really?
Just,
Wow.
out of nowhere. Nothing strange about that, right? Did you see that
Nope, not
in
at
that
all.
Bondi Beach shooting that the cops pulled a Uvalde and just stood there for 20 minutes while the guy murdered people? And then finally some citizen jumped in, stole the guy's gun and shot him a couple times. And then the cops shot him.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Like the cops were just standing behind cop cars doing nothing. Female cops just standing there. And then some guy jumped in there, stole the guy's gun, shot him a couple times. And then they shot him. Go figure.
Wow. That's it's great police work.
Yeah, great policing, Yeah. And that's what happens when you let governments take your guns away. You rely on police to keep you safe, and they don't. That's one of the reasons you should never give up your guns. You can never rely on the police to keep you safe because that's not their job. Their job is to collect revenue for the state. You can watch a million different fucking, like I watch a lot of these predator catch videos on YouTube where these guys do like the Chris Hansen thing and do a catch the predator sting. And most of the time these guys don't even get arrested. They collect the info and they say, oh, okay, we'll follow up on it. I just saw one where a guy who got, caught meeting up with a 13-year-old girl, had child porn on his phone, meeting up to rape a 13-year-old girl, got 30 days in jail. Meanwhile, you can watch videos of auditors all over YouTube where cops do everything in their fucking power to arrest them on site for filming.
Yeah.
It really shows where their priorities are.
Yeah, that stuff.
Yep.
That's a fucking crime, man. I read an article recently. I want to say it was a Somalian immigrant or whatever, and like raped some girl to death, like just out in the open on a street with people seeing and watching, and he had just a laundry list of similar sex crimes and stuff, and had been just processed and kicked back out probably I think a handful of times. And like you said, man, the cop, it's just disgusting, honestly.
We live in a sick fucking country.
And then it's when the people that have had enough and actually stand up to do something about it, do the right thing in the moment, they're the ones that get in trouble. Like, I don't remember the guy's name, but some dude was acting all fucking crazy on a train. I think it was somewhere in like New York or something, and then he took the guy down and put him in a chokehold and put him out, and that guy happened to die. And then the guy that did the right fucking thing took control of this guy that was acting crazy on a crowded train.
Yeah.
That guy gets in trouble because this dude that was like, if you act out of line and you get restrained and then you happen to die, George Floyd, it's disgusting. It's teaching people that it's not worth acting to defend people or handle people that are either acting out of line or actually doing committing crimes.
Yeah. I remember when I had my amputation, I was in not in North Dakota. I was in Minnesota, and it was summertime, and like my wife was on a fucking bender, so I was like left. I had to check out of the hospital early, pick up my dog from dog daycare when she disappeared, and then the next day, like all my medications had worn off, and I was in so much pain that like I couldn't even get my shoes or a shirt on to go outside. and like take him for a walk to go to the bathroom. So I'm walking down the main street that is like right outside of the Mayo Clinic, which is like one of the best hospitals in the country. And multiple cops drive by, an ambulance drives by. I'm walking around in no shirt, no shoes, and shorts, in the middle of the day, and not a single person stopped to ask if I needed help. And I remember thinking,
Yeah.
like, what a sick fucking country we live in when somebody's like I wouldn't have asked for the help, but like kind of crazy that all these cops drive by, all these ambulances drive by, all these people drive by, and not one person thinks like, oh man, maybe this guy's got something going on and might need some help. I saw a video the other day where a 5-year-old, a fucking 5-year-old, no, it might even have been a 2-year-old. I don't remember for sure. I think it was more like a 2-year-old walked 5 miles to daycare when her loser parents didn't wake up and were like passed out drunk in the house. How the fuck does a toddler walk 5 miles without somebody stopping and going, maybe I should see what's going on with this baby walking down the street by itself?
no, no, that baby was in a suit and tie with a briefcase. That baby's got it going on.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, how is that? How long does it take a baby to walk 5 miles? Hours?
I mean, it depends how motivated that baby is. They're probably.
I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, how does nobody stop and see what's going on with this baby walking around by itself?
They're probably afraid that there's like cameras rolling on it, and and that they would get in trouble for trying to do the right thing, or they thought it was just a little person, and then they were also going to get in trouble for assuming that little person was a baby.
I saw a tweet the other day that said there's a special place reserved in hell for cis women that make fun of transgender women, and somebody replied, it wouldn't be a reserved place for long. Transgender women would demand to be there.
Oh, man.
I thought that was fucking hilarious. Well, we got 15 minutes left. Hard pivot. I saw an article the other day. This was like a week ago. I sent you a video of it, but it didn't go through. So I'll kind of just give you a synopsis. Apparently, so like this is an old study, but Popular Mechanics did an article on it last week that went kind of like viral for them. It wasn't like a viral thing, but essentially the study found that premonition, like intuition, not premonition, like intuition might be memories from the future. And they thought that it's possible that like, remember that movie Arrival where the chick like gets access to the alien language and then all of a sudden she's like living her life non-linearly where she can like access memories from her future and her past like simultaneously. Well, they were thinking it's something kind of like that. And I thought that was pretty fucking interesting. Did I ever tell you about my theory about like consciousness and telepathy and shit like that? I came up with this theory a couple months ago, and I think it was while you were off.
I don't think you told me about
so
it.
I was doing a podcast with this sci-fi writer, and we were talking about this podcast called the Telepathy Tapes. The chick was on Joe Rogan. This was like months ago, where like they have these nonverbal autistic kids who they think can like read the minds of their parents. And so like we were talking about it, and he had a mentalist on also, that the mentalist was like, nah, this is bullshit. I can tell you exactly like why these kids are able to do this. They're able to like read body language and facial recognition type of stuff. So like, I'm not saying that it's true, but I started thinking like, what if it is true? How could you explain that with science? And so my thought is like, I've always kind of had the idea that like consciousness exists outside of our bodies, that it's not really generated by our brain, that our brain is closer to like a radio antenna that picks up a signal that exists somewhere else. So like, imagine if consciousness all existed in one place and each of us are able to access a tiny piece of it, right? And so what if that portion of the consciousness that we're capable of interacting with is like connected to the whole through quantum entanglement? So then like me and you would be essentially like entangled at the quantum level. So the closer you are with a person, the more access you would have to that like entangled consciousness. So like that could explain why you know when somebody's about to call you or when somebody's about to text you. The article was about like this girl who like begged her dad not to go on a business trip because she knew he was going to die in a car wreck, and then he did. And so like they were thinking
Hmm.
like what if that is a memory from the future rather than just some random
Yeah.
occurrence. So I thought that was pretty
Hmm.
fucking interesting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's definitely a wild theory. That stuff is always very trippy, I guess, for lack of a
Yeah.
better term. There's gotta be some sort of explanation, and I mean, why the fuck not that? I'd say that that probably makes more sense than other like just
So then I started
if
thinking
it's
like what happens when you're on DMT or on mushrooms? What if you're like kind of fucking accessing part of that vast consciousness and it's so fucking weird and trippy that you can't really comprehend what's going on. And
yeah.
if consciousness exists in one place and we have access to it, who's to say that like aliens don't have that same access? So like maybe you are actually interacting with weird beings and aliens from other side of the universe or different universes even, because like they're all accessing that same well of consciousness.
Huh, yeah. Yeah, man.
Fucking trippy, right? My brain does
Yeah.
weird shit sometimes.
Yeah, hell yeah. I yeah, man, I definitely there's got to be whatever you want to call it. You want to call it demons and angels or aliens or
Yeah,
what have you. There's definitely energies and beings. There's stuff going on
yeah,
behind the veil all the time, all around us, that we definitely can't see, and there has to be glitches or holes, or there has to be overlap from time to time, and I'd say that is by far the best theory that makes the most sense to me for so many experiences that people have that they would call being visited by whatever title, whatever name you want to put on it.
yeah.
That makes sense to me.
I'm reading a book right now where um it takes place in like the 26th or 27th century, like the 2600s. And at that point, they're like a fairly godless society. Like there are still aspects of religion within certain sections of the society, but they exist on like multiple planets. And like some of the civilization is kind of breaking away and like become more of like a hive mind type of thing that has no religion whatsoever. And then all of a sudden they discover that like the afterlife is real. And like right now they've only discovered purgatory, and like some glitch within the veil has allowed these like souls that have been stuck in purgatory to possess bodies of living people and kind of suppress their consciousness and their soul within the body. And so like they haven't figured out exactly what's going on yet, because as of right now it's only bad souls for the most part. There are some good ones, but the majority of them, like 99% of them, are bad souls that have come and repossessed people. Like some of the good ones, it doesn't really make sense, like so far, like why the good ones would be stuck with the bad ones. But like there's also evidence that like they move on. And it's weird because like they live in a universe where aliens are real and they have like interactions with aliens, but there's no aliens within purgatory. So like the aliens that had discovered this prior to us, they didn't tell us about it because it was something for us to discover for ourselves. So like where are their fucking souls? And it's kind of annoying. It's the same guy that I told you about that had the language problem with like traveling across the universe 50,000 years later and everybody's speaking the same language. Just,
Yeah.
go figure, everybody that gets possessed by a dead person speaks English. Imagine that. Imagine that. Nobody
Lucky.
from prehistory. There's no weird languages being spoke. It's all English speaking people, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then he's got another problem
This
in the book where, like, go ahead.
I was gonna say this just in: God is real and she's American.
No shit, right? Yeah, that's funny. Anyways, he's got another problem with his book. Like, in this book, like, wormholes exist, and these people have, like, the technology to settle other planets. But meanwhile, Earth is being destroyed by climate change, and they can't fix it.
Oh wow, plot twist.
Imagine that, and the problem is heat from fusion reactors, that there's so much heat from fusion reactors that they can't seem to cool the Earth down. And meanwhile, there's, like, space habitats rotating the Earth, like a whole halo of them. And so, like, why couldn't you move your manufacturing off of Earth? Why do you have to manufacture everything on Earth that creates all this heat that's destroying the planet when you could just move it into orbit with all the other shit? Or why couldn't you open up wormholes within the upper atmosphere and drain out some of the heat and pump cool air in from a different fucking planet? Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. I hate it when books do that. Like, it drives me nuts when there's, like, simple solutions with the technology that you've created in your own book that you just decide to hand wave away. Drives me nuts. How's the marijuana withdrawal going?
It's going pretty good. I still definitely miss it in the evenings when I'm just getting ready to wind down, and watch some YouTube or something like that. I enjoy it for that. But so far so good. Fucking weird ass dreams still. Yeah, man.
I don't know if I told
it's
you
hard
in the
to
last episode, but, like, one of the main problems I had was sweaty feet and sweaty ass.
I think I would agree with the sweaty feet for sure. I definitely have noticed my my work boots getting a little funkier.
For me, it was at night. I would get out of my hot tub and, like, my feet would sweat, and then I'd be in bed and my feet would get freezing fucking cold from the sweat. And then, like, I would get up and I would blow dry them off and wash them off with water and blow dry them off. And I'd get back into bed and they'd get fucking sweaty again. And it lasted for like 2 months. I was driving me fucking nuts. I have to, like, change underwear 2 or 3 times a night because my ass would just be swamp ass. Fucking disgusting. Ugh, it's driving me nuts. That was, like, the most annoying part of it. One of the things that I didn't expect was, like, my memory's fucked from, like, brain injury. And, like, I kind of always thought the memory thing with weed was propaganda to, like, keep people from smoking pot and to make it just, justify the illegal bullshit. But I do think my memory has improved a little bit since I quit.
One thing I did, I started I started trying these creatine gummies. They're like super low dose. I don't remember how much is in each individual gummy, but I've read quite a bit about the cognitive benefits, and it's supposed to really help with the effects of sleep deprivation. And it's supposed to be a nootropic, and I don't know. I've pretty much just been eating one in the morning, like when I get to work, and I definitely can tell a difference. And they've been good, man. I've enjoyed them, but we'll see how it keeps going. Hopefully, I don't have to just keep upping the dose.
I might have to try those on order some on Amazon or something like that. How's the do you ever notice any cognitive effects from the nicotine pouches?
Yes.
Gets you fucking buzzing a little bit.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I can tell it's it's pretty wild. Like, I'll get up in the mornings and get up. I pretty much get upstairs and down at least a pint of water, and then probably get at least halfway through another pint, and then I'll be super groggy and just kind of foggy and stuff, and I'll pop 2 nicotine pouches in and make my coffee and stuff, and it kind of, yeah, it definitely kind of like snaps me awake a lot more, and yeah.
Oh, that's bitching. Anything else you got for us, or we call it here?
Yeah, no, I don't think I got anything else right now, man.
Yeah, I think I'm set too. I've done like fucking 4 podcasts this week. I've moved us up to 3 podcasts a week getting released right now to see if it'll help with engagement a little bit. So far the engagement is down a bit, which I didn't really expect, but kind of makes sense, I guess, if like there's so much. It seems like every third or fourth one gets like almost no engagement, but the other ones are like kind of normal. So I don't know what the deal is. I figured I'd try it for a month or two. Like I've got so many fucking podcasts in the hole right now. Like I feel bad that I've had people on, and some of them I've been sitting on for like a month just because like I've scheduled out for like 3 a week for like the next fucking month, and I've still just got it done. Like every time I have you or Dan on too, it just pushes everything back a little bit farther, and it kind of kills me with getting people to come back on again if I record, with them and then don't drop the episode until a month later. But, shit happens. It is what it is. They can fucking
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's call it.